Hey guys, Jengar here. Welcome to today's episode of Combat Report, in which we'll be taking a look at the F-84F. This used to be a battle rating 8.7. It has been brought down to 8.3, and that makes it a little bit more interesting, as this plane doesn't have missiles, which was a huge surprise back in the day, as it came out at 8.7 in the middle of the jet age with no missiles. But anyway, it wasn't that much faster than some of the other jets that were, from some of the other Thunder jets that were earlier than this one. It just didn't feel spectacular. It wasn't particularly maneuverable. It had some pretty heavy downsides, and we took it out. And what is the challenge while flying a jet that isn't particularly good at its battle rating and has some severe downsides? That you gotta fly it really disciplined. And that's what we did in this plane. Particularly boom and zoom, boom and run style is what you gotta do in this plane, and to make sure that you do not get exposed for your weak sides. So what we're doing here, we came from above, as you shoot in this plane, tried to boom and zoom, boom and run, and we found this G91. I didn't fly a lot of jets at the time, so I was still getting used to this aim. And you gotta try to keep him busy in this case. I really like to zoom when I fly, but that is particularly useful with props. And I'm starting to notice more and more that with jets, the zooming option for, focusing your aim is less useful in jets, as you have less time on the target, and the targets are moving much more faster, which isn't particularly good when you are in zoom. If a plane is in a turn and it's maneuvering a little bit like with props, most of the props don't move that fast, and you can just peek in your zoom and see what it's doing. But often a peek in your zoom in a jet is already too late. It has already moved, and you got to go back to non-zooming, and it takes more time that way. You might lose a shot, and I'm gonna try to expel that from my jet game, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. As you know, I'm a prop lover, but hey, we're coming from above again, going for an ME-262 here, making a long run. It is one of the rocket boosted ones, and we get him out with a shot to the right wing eventually, and we're zooming back out. Just a shallow climb, and trying to get back to position, trying to get back some altitude. As we did that, we came back into the middle of the map, into the where all the enemies were, and we took a head-on here. Not particularly masterful. He was spraying a little bit in all directions. I didn't know which way to turn, so I just kept flying to where I didn't see any bullets. Sometimes this is good, but when a person has stealth, you cannot see this spray of bullets. So, staying in the same line often can get you killed. It is at least fully committed then, and it is often that people use stealth belts, so there's that. Now we looped over, and we again boom and zoomed on this guy as he came from below. But as a person can also have in the jet game a lot of speed, of course, from the straight line. Your energy advantage that you might think you have might not be so spectacular as we noticed here. We missed that shot just barely. Would have been a good kill when at that shot. I'm using the air brake a lot because it is easy to overshoot when you are in a dogfight like this. But we kept it open a little bit too long here, as he is starting to extend already again. And he is outside of a kilometer now, and I'm gonna have trouble to catch him back up, as the acceleration in this thing is actually super bad. So yeah, you gotta use the air brake with some patience. You don't want to use it too often, because the speed you lose, you won't regain it fast. But then again, if you come into a confrontation where you are dogfighting and you're gonna try not to overshoot, you're gonna have to use it, because overshooting in jets is kind of a death sentence usually. That's what everybody's looking for. And yeah, thanks to Switch pre-work here, I can easily shoot this guy down, taking a swift left turn as I see the other guy coming in. And we're looping back over as I want to get some altitude and then be able to dive again here. MiG-15 seems to extend. Yeah, in the end, in that match we got 2 kills. But yeah, let's go into the next one. So we're climbing again, shallow climb, too steep. It loses a lot of speed in the vertical. It can be problematic. I heard a sound there and checked the radar and just noticed that this guy was coming in very fast and I was just still climbing. Very nice surprise. And rolling scissors were coming into here. Actually, it's more of a flat scissors. But as you see, the MiG-17 is much more quick in its turns here than me. This plane just isn't suited for this role. And it is just purely down to me being able to look at him, as that part of my game is alright. You gotta be able to look at your opponent and respond. That can quicken your reactions and make sure that you compensate a little bit for your lack of performance. But here he hit me with his guns and he should have, with a little bit more luck, he could have gotten a kill there. Kill shot, or at least a critical. I'm not too badly damaged though, I'm just praying for somebody to come in to kill him here. If this would have been extended, this fight, I would have eventually lost, because it is just purely impossible to fight in against a MiG-15 or a MiG-17 in a flat scissors or a rolling scissors. You're just not gonna win in this plane. If it rolls a little bit more, it might be possible, because this plane does roll a little bit better than the MiG-17 and MiG-15, but bloody hell. Here again we came in from above, doing a dive. That is where you want to have this plane. It's just so very strict boom and zoom, this plane. It's just, you really gotta like that. And then still, it is not a fantastic plane. It wasn't at 8.7 at that time. It's really over-tiered at that point. And it didn't know what it was doing at that battle rating at the time. I'm glad they put it down, and we're gonna have to see if it's good enough there. It might actually still have to be lowered to 8.0, but I'm gonna have to fly one of the other ones that I didn't look at any of the other ones. There were, I think, 4 or 5 of these released with the patch in which it was released. And as you see here, we're doing a bit of a high yo-yo here, not to overshoot, and to get back down into a shooting position here as we finish him off. That is a very good way, without using an air brake, to lose some speed. Initially not to overshoot, going up in the high yo-yo, and then when you're on the top of it and you roll over to come back down, you pick up the speed again. It would be better if you have a plane as we roll out of this head-on fairly quickly, which makes me come out clean. But if you want by preference a plane that accelerates better for high yo-yos, that's always better, of course, but it's still a nice move not to overshoot in any of the jets, whether you have good acceleration or not. And with head-ons, usually you just want to turn out quickly before 2 kilometers, at least in jets, but I was there at 160, and that is still alright against most of the jet pilots, because there is an amazing amount of new pilots coming into jets. As War Thunder focuses more and more on jets, people expect more jets, there's more jets in the game that people love, and people start playing the game to get into the jet game. And that means there's gonna be players rushing through the ranks, not learning how to fly, and then coming into jets and to fly jets while they don't have any experience flying planes. Here again, we went out of that head-on very quickly. A Canberra has 420 millimeters. Quite risky to take a head-on there, but hey, that's the jet game, right? You always shoot a little bit in the head-on and try to roll out quickly. Jet game is a lot more head-on than the prop game is, and a lot less dogfighting. Although in these early jets without missiles, you can still have a lot of dogfights that can be quite a lot of fun. Now we climbed again. We're gonna meet this, you know, it is a bomber. He's gonna shoot. He doesn't have stealth. We get a crit on him, and we roll out cleanly, which is good. Once you see the tracers on a plane, you gotta roll out. But again, You gotta watch distance more than you watch the tracers, because people can run stealth. They can be shooting. In that case you gotta see the muzzle flashes, but sometimes they're too far out for you to see that. So there can always be that. Now again, we are in a position here. I always like this, especially in these kind of jets that are not particularly good at their battle rating, to be above the fray. And from there, boom and zoom people, boom and run, and try to pick out targets that are just on the edges of the fray, and so that you do not get an accidental tail or something with somebody with a missile that you could have happened in this plane a lot, because you were in the jet age or the missile age without missiles, of course. Joy and happiness. We get a fire on him. Of course, with these guns on this plane, it is very frustrating sometimes. You get a lot of fires and stuff like that, not a lot of stopping power on this plane. But that has always been a downside of many of the early American jets with the 650 cals, 450 cals. Can be a little bit frustrating here and there. Ooh, almost crash into one of my allies there. So close that it moved the plane. Again, we're shooting at a bomber again. And critted. Come on. And a fire again. So there he goes into the dust. Guys, so this plane, yeah man, be careful. Make sure that you play it safe in these kind of planes. And you'll come out on top. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Become part of this community. If you are already a subscriber, don't forget to like the video. Do leave me a comment. And if you really feel like helping out today, make sure to share the video with your friends and let them know about the channel.